Welcome back, everyone. What we're watching, episode 35. I am Joey Harris, joined by my co-host, Dancing TJ. How are you, sir?
I have to dance every time. It's just the music just hits me, Joe. It gets in my spirit. And we're back.
Gotta have a good one. Got to have a good one. You know what, folks? In these uncertain times, there are things where you can't depend on them. We understand and appreciate that. That's not us. This man right over here, he will bring you with and we're back every single time. He will hit it. Yeah. And if you heard the pre-show that we had, we were off the rails. It took us this long to drag it back on the rails.
Oh, yes.
I'm sorry. That the guy next to me. Hold on. That guy. I was trying to turn my finger. I'm like, no, you're using the wrong hand. But we're back. How are you, my friend? You good?
I'm good, brother. I'm good. Again, that conversation in the green room definitely got my blood pumping. We're laughing over here and carrying on. Me and Joey need to hit the road and go on tour. We'll be at the Comedy Shack next Tuesday in Buena Vista.
Tell him Gustav sent you.
Gustav sent you.
We knew
he does a
right.
Does a mighty good comb over.
But we're back. We are continuing our MCU journey, chronological. And I was telling my brother-in-law about it. And he's like, are you all doing like all of the shorts? I'm like, we're doing all the shorts. He's like, are you doing all the auxiliary shows? I said, we're doing the Disney Plus one.
Yeah.
Like, you know, we're not Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. and Inhumans and the 1994 Fantastic Four film and all of that. We're trying to streamline it as much as we can. I got to go back and work on the timeline again this week because I'm trying to figure out where I need to put Agatha all along.
Ooh, because did you see it?
I've got like 2 episodes left.
Ooh, because I saw it. You know I got Disney Plus now, Joey.
I know you've got everything. TJ, folks, I'm gonna just sit here and tell you now. TJ used to be Joey. You know, I'm a DVD man. I've got they wrote me in for another year of the Peacock, and then you're like, I got Disney Plus. But now you're like, I've got access to Max. Everyone came by my house and dropped off a package. Epix moved in next door.
Next door. I'm siphoning my internet from the library down the street. Yes, Joey, we are on top of the game. But for the record, for those of y'all who are wondering, I am still a DVD man. I just had to slow it down.
On the DVDs over here.
I do not sleep on the DVDs. Just got a DVD last Saturday. It was one of the M. Night Shyamalan, like 4 feature packs. I got 4 M. Night movies in one disc.
Hold on, I'm gonna try to guess what they have on there. All right.
Okay, let me hear it.
I'm gonna say they got Signs.
Nope.
Unbreakable.
Nope.
Oh, The Village.
Nope.
Dang, must be the new ones. Do they have Glass Split?
Glass Split.
But not Unbreakable.
But not Unbreakable. That caught me off guard too, because I was like, it's a trilogy, but no. So we got Glass, we got Split, we got The Visit.
Okay.
And then we got Old.
Okay. See, those last 2, if you'd have given me a million guesses, I'm like, The Sixth Sense? No. The Seventh Sense? No.
The Girl in the Water? No. And that, if you're wondering, people, because this is what we're watching, The Girl in the Water is my least favorite M. Night Shyamalan movie.
See, I thought it would have been like The Village. Wasn't
No,
that
I actually like The Village.
was that one of his?
Yeah, I like The Village.
Okay.
That was the one that had Dallas. What's her face?
Dallas Bryce Howard.
Yes, Dallas Bright. Yeah, she was blind as shit in that movie.
Ron Howard, the duck.
Yes, Opie.
Little Opie Cunningham.
Opie Cunningham.
Oh goodness. But
It's awesome that he's done so much amazing things, and we still remind him that he's Opie. Let's get
he
it.
knows he's Opie. He loved his time as Opie and as Richie. He enjoyed that, and you notice that he did not fall into one of those child star holes,
Right.
because he was really, he had fantastic parents. He had good role models on the set of both of his shows, and he had good role models as far as his idols in directing.
So,
But today we are talking about Iron Man 2. And there were, I didn't know if you knew this, TJ, but there were some alternate, you have like Die Hard 2, Die Harder.
right.
And there were some things. So they tried this one, Iron Man 2, Electric Boogaloo.
No way.
Said, no, that might not it. And this was Iron Man 2, Iron Harder. But they're like, that may have a different connotation to where
Right.
it might bring in people there. So they just went with Iron Man 2, which I think was, in hindsight, was a good choice.
I agree.
But it's a 2010 American superhero film based on the Marvel Comics character Iron Man, produced by Marvel Studios and distributed by Paramount Pictures. It's the sequel to Iron Man and the third film in the Marvel Cinematic Universe. Directed by Jon Favreau and written by Justin Theroux, the film stars Robert Downey Jr. as Tony Stark Iron Man alongside Gwyneth Paltrow, Don Cheadle, Scarlett Johansson, Sam Rockwell, Mickey Rourke, and Samuel L. Jackson. Set 6 months after the events of Iron Man, the film follows Tony Stark as he resists calls from the United States government to hand over the Iron Man technology, which is causing his declining health. Meanwhile, Russian scientist Ivan Vanko uses his own version of the technology to pursue a vendetta against the Stark family.
Introduction to my man, Mickey Rourke.
The wrestler himself.
The wrestler himself. And just the whole look that Mickey came into with the tattoos. And then because we're talking about behind the scenes stuff, I don't know if you knew this, Joey, but Mickey had a Loki tattoo that they removed for production because they didn't want to confuse anybody.
Which I can understand and appreciate, especially as knowing what's coming up and what supposedly all of these things are happening at the same time.
Absolutely, man. But like, so just giving you, initial thoughts going into Iron Man 2. Yeah, I was going to go to the movies to see this because at this point in time, the MCU isn't the MCU yet, but Marvel has hit on 2 straight films. So they got a younger TJ, hook, line, and sinker. I'm in line ready to see this picture because you did good on Incredible Hulk. You did good on Iron Man 1. Yeah, let's go.
Following the critical and commercial success of Iron Man in May of 2008, Marvel Studios announced and immediately set to work on producing a sequel. In July, Theroux was hired to write the script, and Favreau was signed to return as director. Downey, Paltrow, and Jackson were set to reprise their roles from Iron Man, while Cheadle was brought in to replace Terrence Howard in the role of James Rhodes. In early 2009, Rourke, Rockwell, and Johansson filled out the supporting cast. Filming took place from April to July 2009, mostly in California, as in the first film, except for a key sequence in Monaco. I was about to say Monaco. Unlike its predecessor, which mixed digital and practical effects, the sequel primarily relied on computer-generated imagery to create the Iron Man suits. Now, I didn't put in the whole, because they were like page after page about the back and forth about replacing Don Cheadle. Replacing Terrence Howard with Don Cheadle. Howard maintains that he had a contract. He had been the highest paid person on the first on the first
Mhm.
film, and that they took his role away, or his contract away, and replaced him to give more money to Robert Downey Jr. The other side is Favreau said he did not enjoy making the film with Howard. Howard fought every single scene, even when he didn't need to fight it, and that it was just not an enjoyable experience. That they came to Howard with, we are readjusting the role a little bit, because apparently he was supposed to have an even larger role, and
Mhm.
that he balked for even more money, and that it broke down from there. Those are what the two sides say. I was not there. I think
Right.
Don Cheadle did a wonderful role. Terrence Howard went on to star in Empire, and I'm sure he made a couple of bucks from that. So that's where we stand.
Yeah, and look, so having heard what I heard, because I always question why, but even not knowing the whole difficult to work on set thing, just looking at the financials. If Terrence is the highest paid on one, he expected a raise like everybody else got a raise. They weren't willing to give a raise, so they gave it to somebody else. Easy,
Right.
easy. Even if that's the facts,
Right.
okay, that's fine. So, but yeah, we said it. Don Cheadle ended up doing an amazing job, and we'll talk more about him a little bit later. But just in this film, thumbs up. I like the way they introduced Don Cheadle's character. Yes,
Right.
it's me. Get over it.
Yep. Which I think you have to acknowledge it, but then you move on
Quickly.
You don't say, "Oh, you look different. Did you do something with your hair? Is that a different suit?" Nope. It's me. Get over it.
But I like when they have that meta line in there.
Yeah.
So anytime you're watching a show that has had a major character recasting, to the ones that act like we're not going to acknowledge it at all, I say that's cheap.
Right.
Just give me one line like, "Oh, you do something different with your hair?" Something. Give me something.
Right. Right. I remember the show Roseanne had two Beckys for a while. Then they brought back the original. Then for a while they would switch them out every other episode. And then they
Yep.
went back with the original, and they had the new one come up and ask like for directions or something. And they're like, "You look familiar." And she's like, "I've never been around here before." So they made,
So-
they had a lot of fun with it. So on Bewitched, they had two Darrens, and they never acknowledged it at all. It was just like at the end of one season, there's one guy, and the next season, there's the other guy.
See, National Lampoon Family Vacation.
Yeah.
They had a different set of kids in every movie.
Oh yeah, Rusty and Audrey, and sometimes they would switch ages. Like one would
Right.
be older, and then the other one would be older. Yeah.
So yeah, but they owned it.
Mhm.
They owned it, man. So yeah, I'm like, I'm for that.
Iron Man 2 premiered at the El Capitan Theater in Los
Oh.
Angeles on April the 26th, 2010, and was released in the United States on May 7th as part of Phase 1 of the MCU. The film received praise for its action sequences and performances, although critics deemed it inferior to the first film. The sequel grossed over $623.9 million at the worldwide box office, making it the seventh highest grossing film of 2010. It received an Academy Award nomination for Best Visual Effects. A sequel, Iron Man 3, was released on May 3rd, 2013. So, in Russia, the media covered Tony Stark's disclosure of his identity as Iron Man. Ivan Vanko, mourning the death of his father, Anton Vanko, a former Stark Industries employee, sees this and builds the same miniature arc reactor as Stark's using old Stark Industries blueprints left by Anton. 6 months later, in an effort to continue the legacy of his father Howard, Tony reinstitutes the Stark Expo in New York City's Flushing Meadows, Corona Park, and resists pressure to turn over his armored suits to the government and Stark's rival, Justin Hammer. Stark learns that the palladium core in the arc reactor that keeps him alive and powers the armor is slowly poisoning him, and he is unable to find a substitute. Growing increasingly despondent after his impending death and refusing to tell anyone about his condition, Stark appoints his assistant Pepper Potts as CEO of Stark Industries and hires Stark employee Natalie Rushman to replace her as his assistant. Thoughts?
So where we're at to this point, I mean, it's really cool to see because of how we're reviewing this, right? Like we did Captain America because chronologically it came first. We got to see the first Stark Expo. So now seeing in Iron Man 2, Tony do the revamped version, and he's a showman, just like his father, just like the father before him was a showman. So at this point of the film, I'm intrigued. What's coming?
Stark competes in the Monaco Historic Grand Prix, where he is attacked in the middle of the race by Vanko, who wields electrified whips powered by his arc reactor. Stark dons his armor and defeats Vanko, but the armor is severely damaged. Vanko explains that he intended to prove to the world that Iron Man is not invincible. Impressed by Vanko's performance, Hammer fakes Vanko's death while breaking him out of prison and asks him to build a line of armored suits to upstage Stark. Vanko decides that unmanned drones are better to eliminate the human factor.
Mm-hmm.
During his birthday party, Stark gets drunk while wearing the Iron Man suit. Annoyed by Tony's recklessness, Stark's best friend, U.S. Air Force Lieutenant Colonel James Rhodes, dons Stark's prototype armor and tries to restrain him. The fight ends in a stalemate, and Rhodes confiscates the prototype armor for the U.S. Air Force. Nick Fury, director of S.H.I.E.L.D., approaches Stark. Fury reveals that Rushman is S.H.I.E.L.D. agent Natasha Romanoff and that Fury personally knew Howard Stark, who was a founder of S.H.I.E.L.D.
Mm-hmm.
Fury explains that Vanko's father and Howard invented the arc reactor together, but Howard had Anton deported when the latter tried to sell it. The Soviets then sent Anton to the Gulag. Fury gives Stark some of his father's old material. In a diorama of the 1974 Stark Expo, Stark finds a diagram of the atomic structure of a new element. With the aid of his AI Jarvis, Stark determines it can replace his arc reactor's current palladium core and successfully synthesizes it.
So before we go too far, looking at some of the detail that went into some of the scene work, when we get this reintroduction of Nick Fury and the iconic, now at this point, view of Tony Stark laying in the Randy's donut.
Right.
When you look at the sidewalk at Nick Fury's feet, you see John 3:16. And it's just going to show what we're going to talk about in this MCU that we're talking about. It is setting Tony up to be that, I guess, sacrificial lamb, if you don't mind a spoiler. Because if you're familiar with the verse, and I'm not going to recite it for you, but if you're familiar with the verse and just seeing what Tony means to his father, who his father was, and what his father meant to S.H.I.E.L.D., yeah, I think that's what we're setting ourselves up for.
I think that is the perfect metaphor, what you said here, because we talked about it when we talked about other things, when we had episodes of the Joey Harris show. The MCU is like that group singing on stage.
Yeah.
You can do what you want to do, but when it comes time to sing again, everybody got to be back by that microphone.
Always back to the mic.
And if they set all that up for like years, I mean, we're talking about 2010, and the finale of what you're talking about comes 9 years later, and a lot of movies and a lot of world building from there, then everybody deserves all the trucks backed up at once.
Oh, big time facts. And as we go a little bit further on, once our core group gets assembled, I'm not going to say it because I'm not spoiling, but you know where we're going.
Right.
With Avengers 1, in that movie, we get more, again, of what this seed that I'm talking about, planted with this sidewalk graffiti, gets doubled down on in that film. And I'll try and make sure to rehash that for you as well.
Yes, please make sure that you do so when we get to that point.
Thank you.
When Stark learns that Vanko is still alive, he goes to Hammer's expo. As Hammer unveils Vanko's armored drones, they are led by Rhodes in a heavily weaponized version of the prototyped armor dubbed War Machine. Just as Stark arrives to warn Rhodes, Vanko takes remote control of all the drones and Rhodes' armor to attack Stark. Hammer is arrested for breaking Vanko out of prison, while Romanoff and Stark's bodyguard Happy Hogan infiltrate Hammer's factory. Vanko escapes, but Romanoff gains access to Hammer Industries software and returns control of Rhodes' armor to him. Together, Stark and Rhodes defeat Vanko and his drones. Vanko dies by suicide by blowing up his suit and the drones. At a debriefing, Fury informs Stark that because of his difficult personality, S.H.I.E.L.D. intends to use him only as a consultant moving forward.
Mm-hmm.
Stark and Rhodes receive medals for their heroism. In a post-credit scene, S.H.I.E.L.D. agent Phil Coulson discovers a large hammer in a desert in New Mexico.
So when they're decking out Rhodes' armor and dubbing it War Machine, and they're going over all these weapons, shouts out to Sam Rockwell for doing I like the character that he created with Justin Hammer. But as he's presenting all these weapons to Rhodes, and he gets to the ex-wife.
The ex-wife.
And I'm just like, yo, I want to see this thing in action. And then you get the battle with the unveiling of the ex-wife, and it slaps off of Vanko like a Nerf.
Let you down.
Let me down like a Nerf dart, just hitting him in the chest and falling down. And then it ends up being, them coming together and what they, folks. How do I say this? Life tells you how to win. Life tells you how to get things done. And what I mean by that is they were able to defeat Ivan using a move that they stumbled upon accidentally.
Right.
Rhodes and Tony get into that little beef after the birthday party, and that's how they find out that, their two blast is magical. So unicorns coming out of that thing, and that's what they end up doing to Ivan. Shouts out to the wrestler, though, man. R.I.P.
I'm going to let you in on something I heard this morning. Early
What's that?
This morning, I was up. I was listening to a podcast, and so by a guy who still wrestles, and he said, "I hate that movie, The Wrestler." He goes, when they came back and did that scene where they give him, the applause and the standing ovation in the locker room, he said, I turned to my wife at the time and said, "Watch, they're going to start doing that." And he said, sure enough, the next weekend, they're doing that. He goes, we didn't do that before last weekend. And he goes, they still try to do it today.
Changing the game, Mickey Rourke.
Favreau's son Max appears as a child wearing an Iron Man mask whom Stark saves from a drone. In 2017, Spider-Man Homecoming director John Watts said he had suggested to Feige that they retroactively establish this child to be the introduction of a young Peter Parker Spider-Man to the MCU. Yes. An idea that Feige agreed was plausible, and which then Spider-Man actor Tom Holland also supported. So, folks, canonically, that was Peter Parker. Box office. Iron Man 2 earned $312.4 million in the United States and Canada, as well as $311.5 million in other territories, for a worldwide total of $623.9 million. Just give me the 0.9. I'll split it with TJ. You don't ever have to hear from us again.
Quiet.
No, don't worry. We'll still broadcast, but it'll be just for us. TJ, you want the video this time?
Right. I need that.
We'll go into Operation Townhouse, but y'all don't need to know about that right now.
Nope. Y'all need to know nothing about it, but I promise. Quiet.
People like, do you remember when Joey and TJ had this show? No.
Bro, when you're talking about having something scrubbed, all of the image, all memories. TJ who?
That's right.
Big what?
Toka what?
Toka who?
Since the film was included in a predetermined legacy distribution deal that was signed before the Walt Disney Company purchased Marvel, Paramount Pictures distributed the film and collected 8% of the box office, while the remaining portion went to Disney.
Okay.
It was the seventh highest grossing film of 2010 internationally, behind Toy Story 3, Alice in Wonderland, Harry Potter and the Deathly Hallows Part 1, Inception, Shrek Forever After, and the Twilight Saga Eclipse.
I saw several of those films. Shrek Forever After was strong. Alice in Wonderland with Johnny Depp doing the Fuzzle Wuzzle, that was a hit as well. Shouts to Tim Burton. Cut the check.
And did we go see the Deathly Hallows Part 1 together? I know we saw Part 2, didn't we?
I thought we saw both of them. I thought
maybe we saw both of them
yeah.
together. I thought it was you, me, and my ex-wife.
I thought we had.
And the Twilight Saga Eclipse, I do believe that was the last one that she ever dragged me to. We had just split up when the next one came up. I said, you know what? If I go and buy the tickets, can you find somebody to go with? And she said, I guess so. I'll be right back.
Haven't seen a Twilight film.
Well, we can't all be happy.
Can't all be lucky.
That's right. Woo. I think that was the one where it came out at Thanksgiving. I want to say one of them came out at Thanksgiving. It was either that or the second one. Anyway, she dragged me to it. And I said, all right, I'll go get some popcorn and a soda, and there'll be reviews, trailers. I said, I'll enjoy the trailers. Dude, the projector broke. And the guy said, we're trying to fix it. And I mean, this place was packed and these people were hot. He goes, if we get it fixed, we'll just cut the trailers off so we can get you all at a good time. And I turned to her, I said, listen, if he can't get that projector, we're going to eat this money, or we'll come back tomorrow with our ticket and get our money back. You see that emergency exit right there? You do not look at anybody. You just head straight out that door. Just keep on walking. Because those people, TJ, I think we're going to riot.
I can imagine. I don't know what Twilight Mania means per se, but I can imagine that it is a combination of Swiftie Mania, Beyonce Mania, and opening weekend of Black Panther.
Add in a dash of a longing rom-com, the love that stretches across time. And then if you want to recreate part of it, get you an easy chair, sit it in front of a window and just stare at it. Have somebody circle you with a camera as outside the seasons change. Because I kid you not, my friend, you can go look it up now. That is a scene in her dad's outside raking leaves. She's just still sitting there. Next time I go around, it's snowing outside like he's dragging a Christmas tree in.
Twilight.
So critical reception. The review aggregator Rotten Tomatoes reported an approval rating of 72%. with an average score of 6.5 out of 10 based on 305 reviews. The website Critical Consensus reads, "It isn't quite the breath of fresh air that Iron Man was, but this sequel comes close with solid performances and an action-packed plot." Metacritic gave the film a weighted average rating of 57 out of 100 based on 40 critics, indicated mixed or average reviews. Audiences polled by CinemaScore gave the film an average grade of A on a scale of A+ to F, the same score as its predecessor.
Okay.
And I liked it. Comparing the two, though, I liked Iron Man better, but I liked it. I enjoyed the War Machine stuff, but when I got into comics the first time, Rhodey was Iron Man, because this was a part of, they took elements of what they call the Demon in the Bottle storyline from the Iron Man comics, where Tony is replaced for a time by his own wishes by Rhodey as Iron Man. And they made Rhodey Iron Man for almost like 2 years. And then gave him War Machine armor. So they really built that up, and it revitalized his comic book at the time, because they're like, it's the same stuff. When you have a character that's vulnerable like that can't handle his own stuff and he gives it up, it gave him that boost in the arm that comic book needed at the time. So I enjoyed that. I enjoyed Don Cheadle. I will never kick ScarJo out of bed for eating crackers. Samuel L. Jackson was a breath of fresh air coming, especially that donut scene. I liked Gwyneth Paltrow, the Pepper Potts stuff, and Jon Favreau was happy with other stuff, and I enjoyed Mickey Rourke, and Sam Rockwell was funny. I mean, you can have that, you know, with scraps in a cave from the first film,
a box of scraps.
But he had like genuine humor in it, and I was probably more so then, not now. There's a big streak of like libertarianism in here. Like Tony says, you can't have my armor. I don't care if you want it. I can do better with it than you can. And they're like, well, Hammer can do this. And he's like, Hammer can't do this, because and he shows the stuff. A hidden deep part of me did enjoy that it's not always, the government does not always have your best interest at
Big time facts. That sequence, again, that whole sequence is great because we get the introduction of Don Cheadle, and then we get Tony taking over the computers and showing where everybody is at in their production of their attempt at the Iron Man suit. I love that sequence right there.
Although
that was great.
I did enjoy when they give Hammer all of the things, and Ivan's like, no, it needs to be drone technology, because that's when drones were first becoming
right,
and that's certainly what they would do. That is certainly what they would do at the time. I did enjoy that
1,000%. And again, because shouts to Sam Rockwell, I like the interaction between Sam and Mickey Rourke over the bird.
Right. You want a bird? Like, we can get you a bird.
We want a bird. We can get you a bird. I can go get you a bird right now. like that's how someone would respond. Like, Joey, if I come to pick you up and I need you to do something for me, and you like, before I was about to do an accent. I apologize. But you say, before I do this, I need to get some white chocolate flips, some banana chips, and some tater wedges. You want some tater wedges? I can get some tater wedges. That's too easy, man. I get some tater wedges. I get tater wedges right now.
You see, it reminds me. You ever seen The Big Lebowski?
Yes.
You need a toe, dude. I can get you a toe.
I can get you a toe. It is awesome that you would mention the toe, because, again, foreshadowing, a little character named Groot shows up with a toe.
I am Groot.
And I have toe.
I'm Hodor. So what's next, you may ask? Well, I'm glad that you did ask it, person who's just staring at their screen. Next time, we're going to go back to Community. We're going to pick that up at the Christmas episode and get us through what I call the mid section of season 1. What's next for back here? Well, we do have the Hulk coming up, the Incredible Hulk coming up, the movie, as well as in our future is also the Avengers film, as well as a couple of shorts. You've got the consultant. You've got the consultant. You've got A Funny Thing Happened on the Way to Thor's Hammer. And then we've got Thor before we get to the Avengers. But that's the next few things before we get to the Avengers. And folks, when we get there, you got to be paying attention, as TJ says, because that first Avengers movie, there's a lot of stuff happening that comes back, both in the following films, setting things up, and way on down the line when we get to later Avengers films and TV series.
TV series as
A
well.
lot
Yeah,
of stuff coming up. A lot of stuff coming up.
you're not wrong, Joey.
Well, thank you for that, TJ. I don't hear that a lot. If you take out the not, I hear that a lot. You're wrong. Both of my wives have told me that. You're wrong,
Oh,
Joey.
bro. If I had a nickel for every time somebody told me I was wrong, we would be in Operation Townhouse right now.
I was about to say, you'd have at least 2 nickels. Am I right?
Right.
How do I have 2 nickels? I was not wrong.
I was not wrong.
I was
I put those
wrong.
wronged very dramatically,
Hey,
standing on a cliff.
you're all good until the day if you're driving down the road and you see a bumper sticker that says honk if you've been married to TJ, then you might be in a little trouble. If you've been in a significant relationship with this man, you might be entitled to compensation.
Please do not let me ever be up at 2:00 in the morning and see that infomercial. That's when we know it's a wrap. They got me sounding like some drug with horrible side effects.
TJ said, I am not mesothelioma.
I am not mesothelioma. Not gonna treat me like asbestos in here.
The next day you show up at their office. Listen, I'm not saying I'm a great guy, but I'm gonna need a list of the people that call that number.
Because some of them lying.
First of all, we went out on one date. She ain't never called me back.
Can't put that on me. Hey man, she trying to make a claim. I get it. We've all gotten that letter in the mail that says, "Hey, you're a part of a class action. If you won't sign this paper, we'll send you your $10."
You know what? I do every single one of them.
Absolutely.
People like, you got money from that? I got $10. They sent me one of those things. Did you sign it and send it back? No.
You ain't getting $10.
Because of that, I got $10. If you had done it, it would have only been $9. Thank you.
Thank you. Right? That's it.
I do that all the time. Somebody like a Cash at me or Venmo, because I put that on there. Like, hey, you can send me a check if you want to, but if they give you the option to Venmo it, Cash App it,
that's it.
Cut the check, as a good friend of mine would say.
Yes.
And we're back.
so smooth. And we're back.
Welcome to We're Not Going to Ruffle Any Feathers from here on forward.
Right.
Did you enjoy the film, TJ? I did.
I enjoyed it very much. That's it. That's it.
We're not ruffling any feathers.
No feathers shall be ruffled. I don't want to talk with too much bass in my voice.
That might be hard for you. You've got a lot of bass, my friend.
It is, yeah.
I enjoy you both as a person and as a human being. But you got a lot of bass in your voice. I say that to my wife all the time.
Thank you for prefacing that you.
I do.
Like
not about the bass. I'm like, I enjoy you as a person and as a human being.
And as a human being. We're having too much fun for these people, Joey.
That way I acknowledge both her individual self,
yes,
as well as being a part of the broader.
I respect that.
But before we go, my wonderful friend, go ahead and plug any and everything that you've got.
Well, we got some stuff coming. Real excited because we're getting ready to end season 1 of Daddy's Little Girl. Going to be filming that this weekend. So by the time you all see this, it will have been filmed and in post-production and will be released to you all in 2025.
I am looking forward to it. I got fingers crossed about my man Howard.
Howard, yes.
I'm hoping he makes it to the end of season 1. If not, can he like twin brother come back and call him?
Right. Treated like a hardcore soap opera, man. But without spoiling too much, I will say enjoy it. Enjoy it. It's coming.
They enjoyed them some Howard. I think it was like a half of an episode. You were like a clip, and they're like, we like this guy too much, and so they expanded it a little bit.
And that's exactly what it is.
And so what I say from that is enjoy every minute of it. Say, hey, I was only supposed to be here for a clip, and now it's the Howard show.
That's what I was telling my friend last night, and I'll make this real quick. I'm like, look, they brought me in to do a little 6-page scene, one off, and this guy is supposed to be dead off scene, off camera, but that one little 6-page scene turns into so much more, man. Now we're looking around like, where's Howard at? Heck yeah. Let that be a shining example. Don't sell yourself short, people. You never know.
You've done a lot of stuff. You've done a lot of acting, TJ, and I'm proud of you, and I appreciate you as an actor. Have you had that big death scene yet? Like I said, you've done a lot of different things, or are you like looking forward to it? Because they could still, like, if they want to get rid of Howard, it could still be, hey, Howard didn't make it and stuff. Or do you want the big like death?
I want to die. I mean, because I've written 2 things, and I've killed my characters died in both of them, but I haven't been able to do like a whole thing. I haven't been able to die. Like, you were with me, Art Crawl. So
I was thinking about Art Crawl, but I'm like, you really didn't have the death scene. It was
right, and that's what
it was alluded that something happened to TJ. Yes,
right. So to answer your question, I want it. So I'm like, and I've said, based on the way I'm looking for Howard, I'm like, okay, so I'm not spoiling anything for anybody. If Howard survives season 1, right, he's a jailhouse snitch. So he's either gonna somehow be a kingpin or he's dying horribly. I don't want it to be off camera. If 15 people want to stab me, death by 1,000 cuts, then let me experience that cinematically. Like that would be so dope. I want to experience that death, and then I want to see if I can, make it. I want it to be believable. That's another challenge that I want to see if I can do to make that experience believable for somebody.
That is awesome. We've got what we're watching. Share it, folks, everywhere that you can. Subscribe, hit the notification bell. That way you'll get every single time we drop an episode, you will get notified. And hey, somebody said this is do us a favor, all right? We want more people to subscribe, and so subscribe, all right? Then as you're going about daily life, put on an episode, just have it playing in the background. You don't even have to watch it. And then comment on that episode. I think that TJ's a good-looking man. Hit some comments.
He has moments.
You like, and then underneath that, say, I don't care for Joey, which I can understand and appreciate that.
Not true.
Comment and play it in the background. That way, that tells this thing called an algorithm that people are watching us, and it makes us easier to find. And that's what we are looking for. We are 9 subscribers away from our next goal, and we want to hit that by the end of the year, which is 2024. So if you're watching this in 2028, we got there. You know why? Because we're now the most popular channel on YouTube. I'm manifesting that. But if
Shazam!
2024, we need 9 more. So I
like that manifestation right there, bro. That was dope.
I am at the Joey Harris on everything. If it's a social media, and I'm on it, just at the Joey Harris. My personal channel is at the Joey Harris. This channel is at what we're watching now. So make sure that you know that. If you put in what we're watching, you will probably find us. But if you're doing the actual channel handle, it's what we're watching now. For that, big things coming. I've got a couple of podcasts that I do, the Joey Harris Show, Cup of Joe Wrestling Show. Big things coming there. Huge things coming in 2025, and we will talk about that at some other point. TJ, again, thank you, my brother. As always, it was a pleasure, and we will talk to you all next time.